Okay, so I'm ready to put my legs on. I've got my 4 fairly equal sized pieces, and I'm gonna kind of hold them up where I want them to go, right about there. Put my thumb there to mark it. Take my pin tool, score the area, lay the chameleon down, score the leg, like this. Remember that the pieces we're attaching are pretty large, so we need a decent amount of the slip. Wipe that excess off your fingers and press one leg on. I'm not going to worry too much about what it looks like just yet or anything like that. I'm going to come over to the other side, score, lay him down carefully, score my next leg, use a generous amount of the slip, my front 2 legs on. I can trim the size difference in a moment, and I'm going to do smoothing and toes and all that in a moment. So right now I just want to get them on. When you do your back 2, you probably don't want to set this down because we don't want anything to smush. Don't forget to slip, I almost did. Squish that leg on there. Put your 4th one here. Kind of tricky on the 4th one because I can't set anything down just yet. Of course, we can always ask our neighbors to give us a hand. Okay, slip that generously. Put on the 4th leg. Right in between the legs in the middle, I'm going to start pressing this down a little bit so that any lines that I see are hopefully smoothed out, attached, less visible. That to the best of your ability. Okay. I'm going to flip them over. Now, my legs are pretty soft right now because I had to remake them. Yours hopefully will be a little bit firmer. But on each side where it reaches the body, I need to smooth it so that I don't see that line. And I'm going to flip them over and do the same thing to this side. Really try to smooth that out, make a good attachment. Okay, now I don't think my legs are too super duper long because I'm going to do a little bit of squishing and toes and flattening and that sort of thing. Maybe just a tad. I'm going to use this flat tool here, which if you need to borrow that, let me know because we're borrowing these from Buckner Elementary. We don't have a whole lot of these. But if you need it, I can grab this for you. It kind of helps me to make a clean cut. And ideally, figure out my leg size first. Okay, that would be more ideal. Then I'm going to be ready to place the chameleon onto the leaf. So I want to get the leaf in front of me. I'm going to hold this gently. And I think I'm going to mark kind of almost like a outline of where I need to score on both sides. That way I'm not scoring somewhere random that isn't even going to fit or to work. Okay. Carefully set your chameleon aside. Score those 4 spots. Remember, you want to score pretty deeply, like that. Scored it pretty deeply. And I also need to score all 4 feet. Wipe off any clay gunk. These feet. Nice deep scoring lines on the whole foot. And then again, take a generous amount of the slip. This is the clay glue. Put it in each of those scored areas. Place your chameleon on, make sure his feet are actually touching where you scored, and then I'm going to press down. Okay, and I'm kind of checking him out to see if the pushing changed the shape of the leg. And if it did, adjusting anything that I want to adjust. Really make a good attachment at the bottom by pressing that leg down, but being careful enough to try not to lose the lines from the leaf. Try to leave those intact if possible. A little bit of slip around these edges might not be a bad idea. But I have to be careful that when I'm smoothing, nothing's getting too gooey, because that just will make a wet mess. Okay, the final thing I'm going to do here is, when my hands are dried off, I'm going to create some texture on his body. Okay, you could use the end of a tool, it's rounded. We could try a little bit of a loop tool, and maybe even practice what that would look like ahead of time, because we don't want to dig into this if we don't like it. So maybe on a scrap piece. Okay, I think I like this. So I'm going to support him with my hands. I don't want to smash him down. I'm supporting him under his neck. But I am going to take this tool and press into the whole body. The legs. Don't forget around the back of the leg, because the sculpture is three-dimensional, which means we can see it all the way around, all three sides. It's not just one side we're doing, we're also looking at the top, the back side. And easy does it with this. You can always go back and touch something up, but it's harder to fix a huge mistake. So just take it easy. No hurry. The texture really makes it look kind of just exciting and fun, not smooth and plain. When I press on his head, I am supporting his chin for sure. Up to the eye, but not on the eye. Be careful of his little tongue. The way I'm leaning over, I have to be kind of careful about what I'm doing. Okay, and then very carefully look him over once more. If you wanted to kind of press this in to make it look like he's got toes, I'll try to hold that up in a moment. I kind of like that. And if you pick him up at all at this point, make sure you support him underneath the leaf. Get a good look at all the texture. And then just check them out. If there's anything looking dry, give it just a tiny amount of water. And then our chameleon is going to start drying over the next several days, drying out really slowly before it makes its way into the kiln.